Hi, I'm Jeff Murrah, and I want to welcome you to True Texas History, where today I'll be talking about giving you an overview of the Texas units in the Great War. In other words, the Texas units that fought in World War One. See, back during the time of World War One, many of the units were still regional in terms of membership. So when you're in a particular division or regiment, many of the people would be from your home state or a neighboring state. And this was a practice of the U.S. military. Now, it ended before World War II. So you're going to find, like Texas units during the time of the war between the states, the Spanish-American War, the Mexican War, and World War One, but not so much beyond that. Now, with World War One, or what they call the Great War, I like using that term because they really believed that this one would be the big one that would bring peace, and not only that, but you also had unrestricted war in terms of chemical warfare, in terms of submarines, in terms of the technology of killing was at a new level at that point. And one thing to remember is that 1/3 of the casualties experienced by U.S. forces were due to the flu outbreak rather than the combat. Now, many of the troops of Texas were mainly in two divisions. There were some that were in some other divisions. There was the 90th and the 36th. Now, the 90th consisted of a lot of people from Texas and, since they organized there at Camp Travis, the men in the division informally referred to themselves as the Alamo Division. And they prided themselves on their association with Texas. Now, the 36, or what they call the Texas Division, was largely from National Guard units from Texas and Oklahoma. And so on their patches, they had a T and an O. And those people often referred to themselves as tough hombres. Hombre is an old term that was often used. When I was a kid, I often heard people talk about folks being a tough hombre. But you don't hear that much anymore. Now, this unit pretty much formed in the Fort Worth area, and at that point, Fort Worth was known as the Panther City. So these people referred to themselves as the Panther Division. Now, they also had Indians in it from Oklahoma, and they often used those Indians for telephone services, Choctaw, Cherokee, and Creek. I know those of you familiar with World War II know about the Navajo Code Talkers, but they also had some in World War One. Now, one of the unfortunates of World War One, the U.S. Army still maintained segregation in its ranks, and many of the black Texans that were drafted were assigned to a special segregated battalion of the 90th Division, and that was the 165th. Now, the 90th participated in operations in San Miguel and the Meuse Argonne. They found themselves under fire quite often, and they held up. The thing is, the division, when they were brought into combat, always made daily progress, even in terms of the trench warfare. And this division did what they call went over the top, or made those attacks out of the trench and went into the enemies. And the 90th was known for never giving a foot to the enemy. Now, the 36, they had previously seen action during a lot of the Pancho Villa activity, and they went into combat as well. In fact, at one point, they captured 600 prisoners and over 75 machine guns. And you say, well, gee, what's the big deal with that? Well, the big deal with that is this was a division that was constantly understrength, under-equipped, and fighting veteran German troops. So it was quite a distinction. And then one of the elements of the 71st Brigade at one point in 1918, the Texans had to clear out the trenches of the enemy. No one thought that they would be able to do it, and they did so within an hour, and they cleared it out, with pistols and hand grenades, which is quite a thing to do. Now, I wanted to go ahead and cover that because as part of Memorial Day, we have to remember the sacrifices made by those who went before. And these men of the 90th and the 36th, and of course the little brigades within it, like the 71st and 165th, they made contributions to maintaining our freedoms and made Texas proud. And what they did, a part of the reputation that Texas has earned over the years. And to this very day, they still, the Army still has patches of these units, even though some of them have been deactivated. Sometimes they're periodically reactivated. So I hope you enjoyed this. I wanted to go ahead and cover World War I today. I'll be covering the activities of other veterans in the next coming days. Hope you enjoy it. Feel free to leave your comments below. And those of you who have been in the service, thank you for your service. I know Memorial Day is not about remembering you, but remembering those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. But while my mind was on that, I thought I would go ahead and mention it. Till next time, vaya con Dios, my friends. Goodbye.